ORAS music hits me right in the heart. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are some of my favorite games of the Pokemon franchise, being remakes of Generation 3 during Generation 6, which were both very important to me personally. But as these games have some unique aspects and storylines, there is some new music, mostly in the Delta episode. Originally, I didn't know where exactly to talk about some of these songs since they were heard in Hoenn but were made with more modern musical tech from Generation 6. Really, they kind of don't even sound much like either Gen 3 or 6 and instead have their own identity. So that's what I want to discuss today. A great starting point would probably be Wally's theme. Wally's growth was better shown off in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, starting out as a trainer just about the same age as the player character. His health isn't the best and he seems a bit inexperienced, but his positivity and musical theme are admirable. But when we encounter him at the end of Victory Road, he's nearly unrecognizable. He's confident in both his movement and speech and challenges you head on while his new battle theme plays, which is a redone version of his character theme. The electric guitar blares in the background, giving you goosebumps and a big smile as all the previous battles now have built up Wally into a formidable trainer. It's always great to see change in a rival character, and with this moment, it feels so much more earned than in the original games, mostly because of the music. There is one theme in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that I don't hear too much about. It's not necessarily a battle theme, but a pre-battle theme. It's the 5 Furious Strikes from the part where you take on 5 grunts at once. It was a pretty cool moment that used the swarm battle in a neat way, but this theme is just so good despite being so short. I'm genuinely surprised nobody else talks about it. Once the Delta episode actually begins, the original music picks up. One of my favorite songs, which is just used during small intervals, is called The Heirs to Eternity. It, along with the other songs, has a pretty distinct Generation 6 feeling in terms of how it's done, but it still reminds me of the other songs throughout Hoenn. It's just a very nice sounding song and kind of gives me the feeling that there's more adventure just ahead. It gives me some minor chills and gets me excited for what's next. And what does come next is all uphill from here. Azoth is such a good dramatic theme as the weight of the situation sets in. Not only is there a meteor heading for Hoenn, but the solution that's been proposed could have catastrophic effects on another reality. It's a great backdrop to the insane lore dump that Zinnia gives and tugs at your heart as you, along with the other characters, consider the decision about to be made. Thankfully, Zinnia helps us find another way, which leads to a battle. The battle against Lorekeeper Zinnia is one of the definitive songs of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I'd say even Generation 6 as a whole. Everybody used it in videos to some degree during this time because it was so unique and came as a great surprise during the Delta episode. Zinnia as a character was a great addition to the extra story in these games, and her battle theme made everything much more memorable. But of course, you probably already knew that. Now we take to the skies on the back of Mega Rayquaza as we listen to Per Aspera ad Astra, which is Latin for through hardships to the stars, and that name definitely fits. Though we've been through a lot up until this point, it's clear that victory is in our hands and that the lives of everyone in the Hoenn region are safe as we blast off into the stars. It's so bright and cheery and really fits the Mega Rayquaza look. The final twist battle against Deoxys is also great, but of course the battle theme is remastered from Generation 3, though it is finally part of the main story here in Generation 6, so maybe you could count it for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? But now as the story comes to a final end, we're treated to one last ending theme. It feels different from the original ending theme, which I discussed before, but this one holds the same feeling as the rest of the Delta episode songs. It's familiar and new at the same time and gives the feeling of a peaceful conclusion to the story. Though it wasn't too long, I felt very fulfilled when I originally completed the Delta episode. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire as a whole were just very satisfying games for me personally. They adapted one of my favorite generations in full 3D, and the music was more advanced. The story and region as a whole just finally got fully realized, and having now finished the old and new story, I can say that ORAS music hits me right in the heart. But anyway, hey, this is GatorX, and let me know what you think about Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire music. Again, I was wondering if this was worth discussing. Probably, I mean, obviously, I love these games so much. They mean, again, like I said, so much to me, as I've mentioned like countless times. I did talk about, obviously, Generation 3 a while ago, so if by chance you want to know my thoughts for Generation 3 as a whole, there's that. And then the last generation I talked about was Generation 6, so I figured, why not just have one for Omega Ruby Ruby Alpha Sapphire for the few songs that we did have in that game that were original. So, you know, it was just cool. It was just really fun. Definitely going to be continuing this series. Hopefully we'll get Generation 7X, and then maybe we'll go backwards to 1 and 2 probably in the new year by then. But if you enjoyed this video, and yeah, Generation 8, shoot, how could I forget that? We're going to do Generation 8 once the soundtrack drops for that, for those games, because finally I can actually discuss a recent game. But I mean, you know, let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, what are some of your favorite songs from Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire? I guess we can include some of the remastered, redone songs because, you know, they technically count, but again, you know, I already talked about some of my favorites there. So if you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can enable notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. It'll make sure you see each new video as it comes out. Anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.